Ooh, everything is just, I don't know where I can start. I guess I will start with, if you stand for nothing, then you'll fall for anything, right? So the whole story about Breonna Taylor has been, of course, misinformation has been going out. So the true reason Breonna Taylor is not with us right now is because of gentrification and how the police were in charge of displacing um, people out of neighborhoods, right? That's what gentrification is. And so the police were in charge of that. And so what they do is they get all these calls coming in to an abandoned neighborhood that they're trying to gentrify. And one by one, they do public notices on the buildings until, and there has been evidence showing that this communication was going back with the mayor's office and the police department, knowing how many public notices were on certain ones and who were in there, and let's try to get them. So they were after a friend of Breonna Taylor's who was living on Elliott. And they were intentionally going after Breonna Taylor too, because they assumed that she had all this stuff and they went out there to rob her. So the police have rogue squads. And most of the officers that have been in this investigation have been investigated on other no knocks and raids that were not legit. So everything that, even though, yes, the initial story is that it was a no knock, which it was, and we are pushing Breonna's law to ban the no knocks. But we are in a super duper majority Republican, and we have a Black woman who is introducing the Breonna laws bill, which has a Black woman's name on it to ban no knocks, and the Republicans are not trying to move it at all. And so, like, we're trying to strategize. Is what we're really doing. Some of the folks are doing right now. So we're taking the protest to politics, but we're still protesting. We're still out in the streets. 270 something days now. They just had a march right now to drop all the charges of all the protesters that's been out there. We have been infiltrated the whole time that we have been down there marching and standing up, trying to get justice. So one of the things that I want to say moving forward, and because I'm not going to take too much time, is that one time I had went to Baltimore. It was a action camp around police-free schools, and I ran into a lot of people from Ferguson. And this was like probably 2018. So this was 4 years after Ferguson. And I remember that they were really harping on the trauma that was going on in the aftermath of the rioting and the protest. And we know that they had, there was, I believe, 5 to 6 activists that have questionably died by certain suicides, but there were some that were murdered. And so we've already had 2 of our protesters that were have been murdered here in Louisville since the protest. Um, so we have to a focus on our mental health right now because of all of this trauma. I feel like in the past, the reason why we have not progressed as much is because it breaks us down, and it makes us angry. And so it doesn't, I'm an educator, and when I'm broke down and when I'm angry, I cannot teach my young people how to do the right thing. And so as for myself, I'm just getting certified in racial trauma training, therapy, so that I can provide the space for a lot of these protesters to understand the triggers, the microaggressions, all the racial trauma events that are going to come to you and be able to still move, because that's what we do as Black and brown people. We move every day in trauma. We have so much built up trauma, microaggressions that we hear every day, that our young people don't understand how to move. And if you go through generation and generation of trauma, you're not being taught how to do it. Another thing that we are pushing here is a cop watch with self-defense. And with that, security part is intel, because our security has been infiltrated by the Boogaloo Boys. And that's what we're having a problem with now, is that we have a lot of activists out here. And that's why I started with, if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. We're not just standing out here just to be standing. And a lot of people don't understand that we're standing for Black liberation and not just standing out here for this one moment. This is a movement, and a lot of people are out here for the moment. And so we have some people that are taking up for the Boogaloo Boys. We got some people that are getting paid off. We got people that look like us that come in and disrupt and get paid to disrupt. We've had 3 protesters die. I apologize. And the first one was, he was a homeless person, but I feel like he got paid, and they give them drugs. They give them drugs to come down and do all these things. So we have to be vigilant on how we move. If we are really going to be resistant and we have to abolish this. We had to abolish slavery, and the police is the baby of slavery. So we have to abolish the police too. Another thing that I will push is, yes, banning no-knock warrants. I think the last time I was on here, I got a different perspective from a couple folks, so I would like to hear about that again. But if we can't do that, then repeal the castle doctrine, because that thing right there is just letting everybody get away with just shooting us. So repeal the castle doctrine, and then on the local levels, get your civilian police review board and have it legit with subpoena power, and have them oversee the police department. We're having problems with open records. They won't allow us to get open records, and they have even said that they destroyed 700,000 documents. So it's going to be corrupt, but we just have to hit them on all these different levels, and we got to organize like no other. We have to, we're still in this fight, and but we've learned from the past, and we have to teach our future. But we're still fighting here for Breonna, because we still don't have justice. The police have been fired, like 3 police have been fired. One is already hired somewhere. Another one moved to Florida. And then that's it. That's it. And they never came out with all of the evidence from the beginning. It's just been so much corruption.